Nicole Zampano is the Director of Instructional Technology Coaching for the Learning Technology Center. An ISTE certified educator, National Board certified teacher, and Google certified coach, Nicole is passionate about the power of coaching to move education forward. Welcome back, Nicole. We're glad you're here.
All right, everyone. Hi, good afternoon. I am so happy to be here with you today. Matt, thank you for that fantastic introduction. As Matt mentioned, I am the director of the LTC's Instructional Technology Coaching program. So today you are here with me to learn more about how coaching aligns with district strategic goals. And this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart, one that I absolutely love because coaching is incredibly important. Now, a few things about our program to get us started, and then we'll dive into the strategic goals. First, we are an award-winning program officially. Last year, the State Educational Technology Director Association recognized our program with the State Achievement Award. We were very honored to receive that award. And we are also incredibly proud to tell you that our coaching program is featured in the Office of Educational Technology's National Educational Technology Plan as a story of innovation. So we're thrilled that coaching is getting the due diligence and just recognition that it deserves altogether. Now, these are overarching big programs. Coaching is also seen as important in Illinois as well. Not too long ago, the Illinois State Board of Education released their strategic plan for the next 3 years. And you can see here on the screen that in section 1.3.1, instructional coaching is mentioned. Not necessarily instructional technology coaching, but the fact that coaching is mentioned at all in the state strategic plan is fantastic and just means that it is important. So a little bit more about our program. With our program, we have a year-long program where we contract out with school districts to provide instructional technology coaching services. It's a shared service model. So what that means is anywhere from 1 to 4 districts share the services of a coach. Oftentimes, we have coaches that are servicing 2 school districts. And again, we try and get them somewhere close to around 170 days within an actual school building. In some instances, we have districts that absorb almost the entire contract, and our coach services mainly them. And then in smaller areas, we actually have a coach that is serving 4 different school districts. Now, the coach is an LTC employee, so we handle all of the benefits, the sick leave, vacation time, the training, the equipment, everything that is needed. Districts are the ones that contract with us for a certain amount of days, and then we take care of all that other paperwork that comes along with it. Districts have the ability to choose the length of their contract. They are yearly contracts. So again, you determine what works for your district and what type of services you'll need for that time frame. And then if we have to hire a coach, meaning that our existing coaches are at capacity, then a district actually takes part with the hiring process with us. So you would sit down with us, have the opportunity to be in interviews with the candidates and determine if the candidates you think would be a good fit for your individual district. This year, we have a total of 8 coaches. We're servicing 18 districts across the entire state of Illinois. Some areas, like the South Cook area, have multiple coaches in them. We are now in the process of bringing on new districts, which is one of the reasons why we are providing you with this webinar today. So in those 18 school districts, believe it or not, there are 75 school buildings that our coaches go into and offer services. In those 75 buildings, you're going to see about 2,100 educators, and those educators service about 26,000 students. Our main focus with coaching is on the educators. We are interested in building the capacity of the educators in the building so that they can then take that information and that knowledge and impact their students. So either way, you can see having only 8 coaches across the state has the potential to impact over 26,000 students. Now, we're going to get into the part of strategic goals and how this fits in place. This past fall, I sat down with the coaches and we took a look at strategic goals and technology goals from districts across Illinois. And we found these just through public websites for the districts. And we went through them and basically said, hey, we do this already. And this is how our coaching program fits into that. So what I did, and I do have a flyer that is coming soon for you on this, is I found different ways that our coaches are actually helping to implement and carry out the strategic goals of school districts across Illinois. So what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to show you 8 sample strategic goals that are real true goals that came from school districts in Illinois. And I'm going to tell you how coaching, or specifically how our coaches, are supporting those. And I'm going to show you some examples of different coaching things that our people are doing to make sure that they are helping these schools grow. So stick with me for the 8. First one, strategic goal number 1, all students will have the skills, understanding, and personal characteristics for learning, working, and living as productive citizens. Now, this makes sense. What our coaches are able to do is they're able to assist teachers with providing up-to-date and realistic application of current technology. Ways in which they're doing that. This is one example of one of the coaches this year. This coach sat down with the district administration, and the district administration said, our teachers need a little help with some different things, and this is what we'd like you to work on. And based on that, the coach was able to craft that's referred to as a LEAD, Lunch and Learn, where the coach was able to develop some materials and have some professional development opportunities on a number of different topics. And I will I'll share this slide deck with you at the end so you can click on these and see them a little bit closer up. But for example, some of the up-to-date and realistic applications here, 4Cs and Google Tools. There's one in here about creating assignments in Google Classroom, preparing students for upcoming test sessions, and so on. In this particular example, I'm sure it's not a surprise to everyone that artificial intelligence is all the buzz right now in education. So in this instance, this coach created a newsletter essentially to help their staff learn how to better generate AI prompts. And you can see, again, you can click on this later and see a little bit closer up, explaining what AI is, giving them some examples that they can use to engineer prompts, and so on. Another strategic goal, by bringing highly qualified leaders and personnel to our district, we're committing to producing lifelong learners who are college-bound, career-ready, and able to compete in a global society. All of the coaches in our program are former classroom teachers, so they understand pedagogy as well as technology. They understand the constraints that come with teaching, and they are highly qualified. They have access to other highly qualified people in the LTC as well. So oftentimes they'll find that if a school district is having a problem, say with connectivity or student data privacy, they can instantly tap into someone else in the LTC to speed along those services. I'd also say one of the top selling points for our coaches is their collective hive mind. We often say that if you are using an LTC coach, you're not just getting one LTC coach in your building, you're getting the collective hive mind of all of them together. Because they are across the state of Illinois, they also know what's happening in their region of the state, and they often, pretty much daily, will exchange resources, information, and help each other. So in terms of qualifications, this group of 8, they're amazing. They come to us with 148 years combined in education. The number seems large. That's a little bit over 18 years of service for average. And you can see that they come from all different walks of life in terms of jobs that they've held in education. Many of them also hold special recognition as well. All of our coaches are required to go through the Google for Education certified coaching program. So they are trained in those best practices. Many of them have ISTE certification or are currently seeking it. We have some national board certified teachers. And also, a strong point of our coaches is oftentimes they'll get into a school district and they'll find programs that the school is using, such as WeVideo or Pear Deck, and our coaches will go out and seek certifications in that tool so that they are better able to serve their clientele. Goal number 3, teachers will engage students in 21st century learning. Those are our 4 C's there, including the use of technology. Our coaches, part of their job is to assist educators in figuring out what technologies are going to help the educators. Remember, that's our main focus, but help our educators streamline their organization and their instructional practice to reach learning goals. Ways in which we do this. This is one example of a coach that sat down in this instance with a 4th grade team and showed the 4th grade team and assisted them with creating spreadsheets that use conditional formatting so the teachers can input student test scores. And according to that conditional formatting, they can get a real-time look at what students might need more support. That's an example of one. We also do a ton of different training for staffs on various tools such as Google. In this case, we had a coach that their school needed a little help with organizing their Google Drive. So they'll provide those services as well. Goal number 4, we believe that ongoing staff development will provide staff the skills to deliver quality instruction and help our students to become lifelong successful learners. This is a strategic goal. How do our coaches do that? They provide job-embedded, real-time, sustained professional development. I can't emphasize that enough, that having a coach provide services is a sustained professional development. It allows coaches to meet the teachers where they're at with their individual needs today. And again, because it's not a one and done, they're able to continue to help that teacher move forward and grow their capacity. This is an example of a document that is kept by one of our coaches that shows a coaching cycle. Now, in a coaching cycle, basically what happens is a coach sits down with the teacher and the teacher says, I have a goal and this is what I would like to achieve. And the coach will take them through a cycle of different steps to help them reach that goal. This is the documentation that one of the coaches shows for one of their cycles. It shows what they're working on. It shows the notes that they took during that time, what resources were shared. So not only can the coach share this with the individual teacher, the teacher can use this to show that they are trying to grow professionally as well. In another example, this is a fun one that took place in October. One of our coaches hosted and created what she referred to as a zombie walk. And with this zombie walk, teachers had, again, this was completely optional. They had the opportunity to observe other teachers while they were teaching. And what they would do is they would go into the classroom. They would take notes on different things that they saw in the classroom, such as building relationships, routines that were taking place, integration of technology, other things that they saw. And they would just jot down notes that they saw. And then they would leave a note for that teacher saying, hey, this was great. This is what I saw. Then what they would do is they would come back and they would complete a reflection form talking about what it was that they saw, what they liked, what they felt they needed help with. And then our coach was able to take that reflection form and tailor a goal to that individual teacher's need. So that's a fun one. She is planning on doing that again toward the spring. Goal number 5, will prepare citizens who will be competent in communicative skills, qualified in problem solving, skilled in creative and critical thinking, knowledgeable of technology tools, interdependent and global multicultural society, and inspired as lifelong learners. That's a big goal. So with that goal, our coaches can help this district that has this goal actually meet this, because again, we're allowing the teachers to focus on the pedagogy. Our coaches can step in and they can assist with the technology. They can look at trends. They could take the time to develop materials, research, find things that are going to help teachers meet the strategic goal. And what's also important as well is that they're able to help bridge that gap between the instructional technology department, the IT department, and the educators as well. They also are able to work with administration and be that sounding board for the teachers as a whole. That being said, coaching is confidential, and we do make sure that our districts are aware of that. So when coaches are having meetings with administrators, they can certainly talk about what's happening and what trends that they're seeing, but they are not going to name individual teachers and say what they're working on. So an example of how we can actually help a school meet all of these goals is through planning. In this particular instance, this coach is showing notes that they're keeping when they meet with the director of curriculum. They sit down with the director of curriculum, they talk about trends that they're seeing, what's happening with the teachers on both ends, what the district would like the coach to work on, what the coach is seeing, and they keep a running list of that note. So there's open communication between the district leadership and our coaches. Another example, when SAPA came on the scene a few years back, the Student Privacy Act, our coaches were able to step in and take that gigantic universe and break it down into bite-sized chunks so that the teachers could understand the importance of the law and why it was in place and what they can do. So again, acting as that bridge between the IT department and the teachers. Goal number 6, we're almost there. We value a highly qualified staff that are ethical, well-prepared, and energetic with the use of technology to promote and enrich the learning process. We can help you with that because our coaches act as collaborators and co-teachers. Oftentimes, they're that safety net. And again, because it's confidential, it is a safe space for teachers who might be a little bit hesitant to use new technologies. Now, this is a great example here. One of the coaches helped a department of one in high school. They were working with an educator who was a marketing teacher. And this teacher basically said, I need to make marketing more fun so the students will enjoy it and want to engage with the materials. And our coach was able to help them design an entire curriculum around sports and entertainment marketing, which has been a huge hit. So making it not only fun for the students, but helping that educator feel comfortable with the technology as well. In this particular instance, back in late December, we had a reporter that did a feature on one of the coaches that services our school districts because she wanted to understand what it was that the coach was doing in her role. And there is a link to this particular article that was published on December 30th. And what I want to draw your attention to is this paragraph here where with an interview with the teacher said, I'm not someone who was ever comfortable with technology. I knew just enough to get the things done I wanted to do. But in the past few years, we've seen the important need for technology. And their coach has helped introduce technology to their second grade classroom in an easy and non-intimidating way. So that's a fantastic testament to how coaches can act as that safety net. Number 7, we aim to integrate the use of technology to enhance the quality of learning for students and staff. How do our coaches help with that? They help make the curriculum more engaging for students using technology. They often model lessons in classrooms and they help provide guidance during lesson planning. This is an example of a second grade teacher that was working with her students, and they were doing essentially a worksheet on a Native American unit. And our coach was able to help them weave in some technology, show them how they can incorporate different resources into one slide deck, and then have the students complete activities within that slide deck so they can engage with the materials in a different and exciting way for them. This is another one, again, coming back to AI, big project. So one of our coaches is doing multiple lessons on AI with the educators in the building. And one thing I love about this is they're not only doing it in small chunks, but one of the first things they did is they used a technology program to gauge the mood of the teachers about artificial intelligence, because again, the mood is all over the place. So our coach was able to step in and say, let's talk about this. How are you feeling today? And had them complete these mood meters, which are fantastic. And then what the coach is going to do is hold on to those until the end of this series on AI and have them redo their mood meter and see if anything has changed. And then our last strategic goal that I want to focus on today. Our goal is to provide up-to-date technology for our students and staff and training to assure effective use of technology. So training, that's a big deal. Our coaches, they stay up to date with current technologies. They have both the time and the opportunity to do a lot of research and development to help find those quality resources, which at the end of the day is going to ease the teacher's workload because the coach can take that off of their plate. This is an example of one where one of the coaches was in district and they saw that teachers were just grabbing any resource off of the internet to do some research. And the coach said, you know what, we have a lot of amazing tools within the district that the district pays for that are SAPA compliant, and you're able to use these. And our coach was able to put together an interactive flyer to point that out to the teachers to say, hey, as a reminder, we have these fantastic resources. Here they are. Here's how you get to them within the district. And if you want me to come in and help you work with any of these, set up a time to talk with me. I thought that was a great example. And then often our coaches will put together technology newsletters as well, where they will provide resources. They will talk about educational trends that teachers should be aware of. In some instances, with the teacher's permission, they will shout out a teacher if a teacher is doing great things. So they have the time and the opportunity to stay up to date with current technologies. Now, that's a lot. Our coaches do a lot of different things, as do all coaches in the field as well. And you can see this word cloud here, some of the things that are standing out. And this is a word cloud that my coaches have filled out in the past for me. You can notice a lot of those things aren't directly related to the curriculum, things like relationships and listening, professional development, in some cases, engagement, data analysis, that's a big one. Coaches can do a lot of different things. They can wear a lot of different hats, all with the goal of helping school districts achieve strategic goals and move their students forward. Other things that they've done as well, some of the coaches have done after school series because, again, some teachers can't or don't have time during the day to leave the classroom for professional development. So our coaches might set something up after school. They also do some whole group or whole school PDs on school improvement days. Some of them actually do virtual PD as well. And then I showed you that example of a lunch and learn. We have that as well. There are additional supports that a coach can bring to district administration, not just to educators. Often they'll do whole school initiatives. An example of that is Texmas, where there was a challenge in December to keep everybody engaged and enthusiastic as we were getting closer and closer to having a winter break. There's also been instances where we've had coaches work to develop teacher tech fairs and help teachers and students plan for projects, and also to plan to present to school boards and to other organizations outside of the building. In terms of specific district administrative support, We've had our coaches train staff within the district office, help the district figure out how to digitize different documents they want to, help with some of the workflow. And then oftentimes, again, going all the way back to that hive mind, we have some cross collaborations. So for example, we might have a coach on staff that is fantastic with spreadsheets, and we have another district that says, hey, we really need some help with these formulas. And their particular coach might have some information, but not have the same baseline knowledge as one of our other coaches. So what we do is we collaborate across. We say, hey, this coach from school A will virtually hook up with school B and we'll train you virtually. So again, coming back to that hive mind, we do our very best to try and meet the needs, again, at the end of the day, to help schools move those strategic goals forward. So funding, how are our coaches funded? Many of the coaches, back when CARES funds were available, coaches were funded out of there. However, that being said, there are a number of different funding sources that you can see here on the screen, and you can see we have a web page as well. I know Matt has the link to our LTC coaching page. You can find the funding page off of that as well. But there are a number of different ways that you can fund a coach in your building. And then wrapping up, some benefits for districts and teachers. Again, that on-demand and ongoing professional development and support is absolutely crucial. From the pandemic, school districts now have a lot of devices in their buildings, and coaching gives you a high return on investment of those devices because you have somebody coming in helping your teachers utilize that. Less administrative burden because, again, the LTC is the one that hires the coach. You don't have to worry about the paperwork, the pension, sick days, all of that stuff. We handle all of that. Less initiative fatigue because, again, a coach isn't coming in saying, let's do something new and let's start from scratch. A coach is coming in saying, what are your district strategic goals? What is it that you would like me to focus on? And they can help support your individual district moving forward. And then finally, we're finding that there is increased teacher satisfaction. It is not uncommon for school districts to try and poach our coaches and try and hire them within because they're so amazing and they are providing that support. So there are some links that Matt will give you to learn more. If you have questions for me, you can certainly reach out at any point. He's going to give you my email as well. This is my current team. And again, we are in the process now of onboarding new school districts. So if you are either a district that is interested or you know of a district that is interested, please reach out, share my contact information, and I would love to have a conversation. All right, Matt, I'm going to stop sharing.
Well, thank you so much, Nicole. I was busy in the background throwing those banners up and putting your email in the chat. We will have some time for some questions. Now, this is a different platform than some of you may be used to. If you have any questions, please type those out in the comments that you'll see over on the side of your screen. And we'll put those up on screen and let Nicole address those for you. So we'll give you a moment or two to start typing in your comment if you'd like. And while we're doing that, I think, Nicole, you had given me the link to the slide deck, correct?
I did.
Okay, let me jump in here and copy that link, and I'll drop that in. Oh, here we go. We do have a question from Sherry.
So
Sherry would like to know how many coaches might be available in the Southern Illinois region.
Okay, so right now I have one coach in the Southern Illinois region, and that coach is phenomenal. So much that her 3 districts all want her to themselves. So that being said, we are going to be looking at Southern Illinois to hire another coach to service any interested districts. I am planning I want to say, I believe it's ROE 50. I'm planning to make a trip to ROE 50 in April to talk to some interested administrators. So if you happen to know of any districts that are interested, let me know, and I'll be happy to arrange something. Chloe, I see your question. How often are the coaches on site? So it depends on a coaching contract. So for example, if a coach has a 90-day contract, they might be in a school building 3 to 4 days a week. Whereas a coach that might have a 30-day contract might be in the building 1 day a week. So it all depends on the type of contract that's signed. In the case of the smaller school districts, one thing that one of our coaches is trying this year is they're trying to split their days. So they might say, I'm going to do a half a day in this school, and I'm going to do a half a day in the middle school, and so on. So it really is individualized. Sherry, ROE 30 is your area. I'm more than happy to come and talk to any districts that are interested. I might even be able to bring my Southern Illinois coach, just so that school districts can get a feel for hearing from the actual coach themselves, even though she wouldn't be servicing your area, just because she's fabulous and everybody wants her and she's overbooked. But again, we would bring in a new coach, and the school district would have the ability to sit in on those interviews and decide if the coach was a fit.
Okay. I'll drop that link to the slide deck in there. Any other questions at this point?
All right.
We'll pause. Wait time. People who have been on other webinars with me will know that I'm terrible about wait time.
Right. It's hard, public wait time. Yes, or virtual wait time. So Chloe, does a school select a specific coach? So basically what would happen is let's say I'm in DuPage County. So let's say I had 2 schools from DuPage County come to me and say, hey, Nicole, we want an LTC coach. I would say, okay, we'd have to make sure those districts combined got us somewhere close to about 165 days. So if that did work, I would say, okay, I don't have a coach here. So then what we would do is, on the LTC's end, we would open up job application. We would vet those applications. I would do some virtual initial applications, and then we would go to the 2 school districts that were interested and say, okay, here are 4 candidates that we think would be a great fit. Now sit down with us in a face-to-face interview, and the school district would have the ability to sit in, ask questions of all of the candidates, and say, this one's a great fit. This one's, we're not sure our teachers would work with that person, and we would go from there.
Sort of a follow-up question on that, Nicole. Can you, or request, can you tell us a little bit about or remind us a little bit about the training provided for those candidates the successful applicant?
Absolutely. I pride myself on the internal training that our coaches are given. I myself am a former instructional technology coach. I coached for 10 years within the Chicago public school system. So I have a strong background in coaching. So we do a lot of internal PD. As I mentioned earlier, all of our coaches are required to go through the Google certified coach program. So they receive certification that way. We have coaches that will also present to other coaches as well. And our organization is a firm believer in all of its employees seeking professional development. So our coaches have opportunities not only to present at conferences, but also attend multiple conferences to help build their skills. And again, I keep coming back to it because it's such a strong point, that hive mind They are constantly learning from each other. And that's one of my saving graces, because as I mentioned, often we have school districts that will try and hire our coaches outright, and our coaches tend to say, I don't want to leave. And I have this built-in network of people that are helping me and supporting me and training me. So yeah.
So you don't have to have prior training as a coach
You
to
don't.
work with the LTC as a coach.
You don't. You do, however, have to have classroom experience. It is extremely important to us that our coaches understand the constraints that teachers have in the classroom. So we definitely want them to have strong pedagogical skills.
Excellent. Any other questions floating around there in the comments? Drop those in, and I will. I've dropped this in the chat, but I'll display it there on screen for the folks who are watching the recording here. I'll also put a link to this in the video description when we post this on YouTube tomorrow.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I see your question. How many years of classroom experience do you look for in your coaches? I don't want to put a set number on it. I think a lot of it has to do with the experience, again, in the classroom. Yes, they've been in the classroom. Have they presented to anyone before? Have they been in any sort of leadership role, such as leading a grade level team or sitting on a committee? Have they shown that they are a self-starter or a self-learner even, are they reading books or participating in professional learning networks? So there's not a magic number per se. It's more of, are you someone that is going to be able to go out and work with adults and understand how adults learn?
Great point. Okay. Any other questions? This has been fantastic. Let's see. Sherry, Nicole, maybe you'd like to talk with Sherry off air about?
Right. Yeah. For cost wise, Sherry, if you want to send me an email, I'm happy to chat with you about that. That'd be great. All right.
Okay. Looks like we've come to the end of our presentation. So thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today. Look for an evaluation in your email inbox within the next 24 hours. And if you'd like to review this, check us out on YouTube. Nicole, thank you again. We've got your contact information up there on screen. So we appreciate the time you've spent with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. And thank you so much for attending. And if you're watching this after, thank you for watching after.
Have a great day, everyone.